The thoughts and views of this podcast and the sole views of the curators of this podcast is not the views of the United States Postal Service.
How does he do it?
And we are back. That's right. On the Route Podcast, episode 21.
Can you do something for me?
No. We told you guys a while ago we was going to get something special for y'all. On this episode, we actually took a trip out to Hamburg, Germany, and we were able to talk to a general manager / owner of a post office. I say owner of a post office because in Germany, also called Deutschland, the postal service is a private entity, meaning you can buy into it the way I guess you would buy a franchise. It's not, really completely owned by the government. They still control the rights and the names to it, but you have to go through them and you can actually buy into actually owning a post office. So we're going to go right to the interview, and then I'm going to have my brothers introduce themselves, and we're going to talk a little bit about, what we heard from the gentleman who owns that postal service.
Hey, what's going on, guys? We're back. This is Rick Sean on the Route Podcast. I'm out here in Hamburg, Germany, and I am about to talk to an owner of a German post office. Before we get started, I'm going to let him introduce himself.
Moin, Mert Popert ist mein Name. Ich habe zwei Postagenturen besessen, eine mit Postbank, die haben wir immer noch, die andere ist mittlerweile abgegeben, da sitzen wir hier gerade davor in Berne in Hamburg. Ich selber bin seit 15 Jahren Unternehmer und werde jetzt einfach mal ein bisschen erzählen über das Geschäft. Bin fast 40 Jahre alt, habe 2 Kinder, verheiratet und bin den ganzen Tag quasi im Auto dadurch, dass ich selbstständig bin. Okay, hi, I'm Mert Popert. I was the owner of 2 branches of 2 post offices. Now I sold 6 months before one, and the other one is still mine with a post bank into it. So I only have to take my time for one branch. I'm married, I have 2 kids. I'm all the day in the car because I have to shift from here to there and make sellings and make buyings. And now I will just give you some informations or some points that is typical in the life of a branch owner.
Okay, cool. So what he's saying, guys, is that in Germany is actually a privately owned entity that people can buy, almost like a franchise, correct? And you previously owned 2 post offices,
Yeah.
right? And now you have 1.
Yeah, right.
So was it always like privately owned, or is that how it started, or did it turn into that?
No, 30 years or 35 years ago, it was from the government. The telephone line from the government, the post office from the government, and then they separated it. First, they make it private, telephone and post in Germany, and then they separated it, the Deutsche Post and the Deutsche Telekom. Before that was one company, and after privating, they separated it. And now it's 30 years, 35 years that it's private.
So would you say that it runs better this way, or?
No, it's only for money.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good for the great owner, but it's not good for the service for customers.
Okay, so while I was out here, because I've been here for about 4 or 5 days, I saw a guy on a bike wearing the uniform.
Yeah.
So he works for whoever privately owns that.
Yeah, because it's efficient. No
Okay.
fuel, no charges for maintenance of the car or anything, and everybody can work on a bicycle.
Okay.
You don't need a license. You don't need much knowledge.
So who actually who delivers the mail then? Like,
Normal clerks, normal workers.
okay, so you have your own like set of like mail carriers.
That's clerks of the Deutsche Post, of the DHL, or some sub business owners.
Okay, all right.
They say, okay, give me the contract for postal code,
Okay,
and I give you 10 people.
okay,
They will deliver your mail in this postal code. And then the Deutsche Post gives the contract to this one, and if anything is false, he will be blamed,
oh,
not
okay,
the post.
oh, okay, wow. So there you have it, guys. He's saying that you can actually buy a contract with Deutsche Post and actually have workers that work in that district deliver the mail. And Deutsche Post is not responsible for any mishaps that happen. It's the individual private owner of that district that delivers the mail. That seems like a very profitable business because it's kind of something that everyone still needs, right?
For the great owner of both guys.
Yes.
Yeah. For the general managers,
Yeah.
it's a very easy business.
So that means you could literally be in charge of, like, say, getting new business opportunities, like, say, Amazon, like picking up Amazon contracts.
It's the same.
Yeah. So
You can deliver for Amazon, but you are a sub-businessman, a contract owner,
Yeah.
and you get the contract for this postal code. And then you
Wow.
deliver for Amazon. And Amazon is more strictly than the others.
Mhm.
If you don't reach 95% or 98% of the packages,
Mhm.
you will get less money.
Okay.
And do it 2 days or 3 days, you will get canceled the contract.
Oh, yeah, because they need the packages
That's
delivered.
the reason why they throw it in the garden, behind the door, because they have to make a green fire.
And I believe I know over there Amazon guarantees like you'll get your money back if something happens to the package. So it's probably the same here. Okay. So what about Temu? You familiar with Temu?
Team, I don't-
Yeah, it's kind of getting big in America now. It's like an Amazon, but
Okay.
it takes longer for the packages to get there because they come from China. But it's like really
Team like
cheap.
Alibaba shop.
Yes,
I know.
yes.
I see the trailers on YouTube.
Mhm. Yeah. So they're a growing
I didn't
company.
know that,
Yeah, they're coming.
Yeah.
Because you can get almost the same thing, but I think it's way cheaper. Like something that might cost like 25 euros might
There's
cost
only-
2 euros.
Yeah, I know. my friend tell me, do you know about Temu? I say, yeah, I see it in the trailer. He said it's a great shop,
Yeah.
but I'm looking normally for quality. I didn't order now by Alibaba all my life because before you get it, it's almost broken.
Yeah, it's almost broken. Yeah.
That's
And then that falls on you because it
yeah.
makes sense. It makes sense. Yes.
I didn't like these stuff because they are good for customers,
Hmm.
but not good for the worker.
Okay.
They kill the work.
So is this something you want to pass down to your children, like the business?
Yeah, I have something more. I have also restaurants and
Nice.
like this. I have other company that I will pass to my children.
Okay.
Not this one. This is hard work.
Okay. Yeah.
Everything with the post is hard work because we have to handle with the customers who didn't get his package, and you can't do anything.
Yeah.
Your hands are abundant because you are not the driver. You are not the mailing company or anything. You can't do anything. You are only here to get the voices of the customer, and that's too heavy for the head.
Wow. So
That's the reason why I say this one. Because here in the postal code,
yeah.
there are too much still races,
Yeah.
and here is too heavy. You
Okay.
can't stay here 8 hours and get happy home.
Yeah. So and that's funny because I talked to a gentleman the other day while I was at a family dinner gathering because we have family up here, and he was explaining to me that they don't do a lot of hours here. They only do 8 hours. Like
I do 12 or 13 hours.
Yeah, as the manager, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was like the delivery guy.
No, 5 or 6 hours.
Wow.
You
Yeah.
can see them sitting in the car, eating, sleeping.
Yeah.
Because they get so less money.
Uh-huh.
The business owners who get the contract, he gets 40 cents, 60 cents per package.
Yeah.
So he gives his driver hundreds of packages,
Mhm.
and after the day he worked, he will get like 40, 50, 60 euros per day.
Okay.
And normally you have to work for this
Yeah,
8-9 hours. If
Wow.
you work, the problem is they can't speak German. They have a proper agreement with the government to work, so they can only make this work, driving a car.
Wow.
If you work in a grocery, you will get 12 euro per hour.
Yeah.
They get 7, 8 euro. That's
Okay.
after they count the packages, because they not get hour, they get per package.
Okay.
They get the amount per package and not per hour they work.
Yeah. See now.
That's why they don't work 8 hours.
And it's crazy because in America, like because it's government owned, we work a lot of hours, like
Yeah,
a lot. But it's
but
like
you earn good.
yeah, financially, yeah. But the downside of it, like you said, is you spend less time with family because sometimes we work 6 hours a day. I mean, 6 days a week. and we'll work 12 hours like you. Like, you know what I mean? Like 6 days a week. You have 1 day off. Like, you can't really do much. Like, you can't take care of bills. You need to. You can't, you know. Yeah, you know what I mean? So it's very stressful. You know what I'm saying? But like one of the things I noticed here in Germany that you guys do emphasize spending time with family. Like, it's important. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, I think that's a value that we used to have, like probably in the 1950s in America, but I think that's like it's so consumer based now. Like, they don't care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that's something that I really respect that you guys have here, that you still care about family unit. Like, you know what I mean? And raising your children. Yeah.
We try to get it. And if the drivers work more, they don't really get more money.
Okay. Yeah. Well, look, there you have it, folks. I mean, the gentleman just said it. Like, you know, the German postal system is a privately owned business that you can buy into and you can run, you know, to the best of your ability as a business person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And but you are liable for whatever happens. So you got to be on point, even when it comes down to the people you hire to deliver the mail for you in that district zone, or if you have a finance station where you sell stamps and different things. So I'd like to thank. Say your name again, please.
Mehesh.
Well, I'd like to thank Mehesh for doing this interview with On the Route podcast. Told you guys we can get you guys something exclusive. You know what I mean? We're gonna have this up in probably a couple weeks, and I definitely want to hear from our audience what you guys think about, you know, because we are flirting with the idea of having a private system in America. A lot of people are against it, like our unions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's something to think about now. When you think about if you're actually good at doing business.
If you make it private, there are no regular.
There's no regulations.
Only business talking.
Yes.
Then they talk about minutes, about seconds. How can they reach more efficiency?
Okay.
And the efficiency is always in the cost of the workers.
Yeah. See?
It's always so.
Yeah.
There's no other way. They can't say we buy 3 more cars. No, we buy less cars, and the one driver will make the first tour, will get back, will make the second tour,
Okay.
and the one driver will make it. And you have to come back to make the car full.
Yeah.
They don't will buy 3 cars to stand it in the post.
Yeah.
You have to get back there.
Yeah. You have
Make
to
the car full.
So you have to get all the stuff out
So the
at a certain
worker have to
time.
go, come back, come
Yeah.
back, and that's what they call efficiency on the shoulders of the worker.
Yeah.
That make it private. It's only good for the general manager.
For the manager. Yeah. Wow. There you have it, guys. Like, don't get no realer than that. I'd like to thank Mehesh for giving us this interview and giving us his time. Appreciate you, man. Like I always tell our listeners, man, you know, be safe out there and be safe on the route.
All right, yeah. So, you know, that was the interview right there in the gist of it. You know what I mean? Before we even get into it, let my brothers introduce themselves as always. To my right,
B Morton, baby. Feels good to be home. Feels good to be home.
And we are back. No, I'm just playing. It's black. No, I just feel good to be
yeah, that was black, y'all.
It's black. It's good to be back, man.
Yeah, man, this is Aaron. What's happening, everybody?
Yeah, so you know, fellas, I mean, you guys just heard it right there. That was Mehesh, excuse me. You know what I mean? He was giving us all the information that we need to know about the post office in Germany, how, you know, 30 years ago, it wasn't like that. It was the way it is here, where the government controlled it, regulated it, and hired everybody and then ran it. But eventually, you know, they decided to privatize it, and people were allowed to buy into it, buy finance stations, which is what he had at the time when I met him and we had the interview. And there's also stations that have routes that are attached to it. So what did you guys think, just from, you know, what he was saying in, you know, retrospect?
From my point of view, what he was saying was, it seems like that this is something that you had to be billed for, basically. That's something that you had to be want to do, basically. It's nothing easy, and the thing is, it falls back all on your shoulders more so. Like, you have to put the grunt of work. You have to. I feel like you are the representation of your workers. Like, you're just no, oh, I'm gonna let you guys do it, and it's all that. No, you have to be all in, hands on more so. And I feel like you have to ask it, like, look, you're gonna fail if you don't really put all your all into it, because it's only you, basically. And like I said, it's not like America. It's not like where you can be kind of lenient with certain things. If not, you have to keep putting your effort into it and getting things done. So more so, you have to, like you said, be more involved, being hands on. Like, it's directly to you. Like you were saying more so in the interview, like, you can't call customer service. You have to come to me. You are customer service. Like, your problems are that. And like you said, from what you were saying in his interview, like how fast you use Amazon, it's really more so efficient. Like, you have to be on time, on point, especially like you said, they're on a bike. So like, you have to be efficient about it. You have to make sure you take everything right. Not they'll cut the snip cut.
Well, from what I got about it, mostly for me, and I think a lot of people listening will probably agree, because, you know, like Rick said in the video, we here have been flirting with a lot of, you know, about privatization, and knowing and having knowledge of an area that already privatized makes it that more realistic, that it's actually privatized there and it's actually working, not for the actual worker, but for whoever has that current station because of the privatization. So, you know, it makes it seem like it works. You know, me personally, I don't know how well that will work here with the, you know, the area surrounding and the, you know, how much we have to deliver as, you know, individual carriers. But, you know, I still don't like it. I still don't like it. But, you know, it teaches all.
Yeah, and I'll side with you, Black. I'm not really a fan of it. I mean, because if you think about privatization, we talked about it a little earlier. You said that the hours would be more and the pay would be cut shorter, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm not a fan of that. I want to work, you know, 8 hours for the most part and go home and, you know, get a nice pay. But, you know, I thought it was an interesting interview, got a lot of information. I want to know, I have a couple questions. Like, I want to know what made them privatize.
Oh, yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting that they got like banking systems inside their post offices, like a few branches, and they also have like they like do mobile phone like contracts and stuff like that. I thought that was amazing. I'm like, dang. I wonder if that comes with the privatization. Could we do something like that here? Could the post office have their own like phone lines and stuff like that here, or is that just like a private thing?
Well, I mean, from what he was talking about, like when you take over a post office, right, or a station, like you're pretty much liable for whatever you want to do. So if you want to get some type of phone contract where you have mobile phones sent to your post office and they can activate it there. If you want to have, you know, Alibaba, like he said, or Amazon or Temu, whoever, it's all up to you because you own that particular business, so you can pretty much generate as much income you think you can get from your business skills and your business savvy and your, you know, your deal making ability. You know what I mean? And he was telling me, he said it's a lot harder dealing with the route based stations because, you know, he hinted to near the end of the interview, he was saying like, you know, because he was in that country and he was someone that was not of German ethnicity. You know what I'm saying? Like first of all, hats off to him because, you know, English is his third language and we were able to communicate and have a really, you know, good interview. So I was just really impressed because, you know, that he was speaking to me in his third language and we were able to get this thing done.
So Rick, can you tell us how you got like stumbled upon this interview? Like you went to Germany, correct?
Yeah, I went to Germany, yeah.
Yeah, can you touch on that a little bit? Tell us about your trip.
Oh yeah, so one thing I'll say is like everything has its advantages and everything has its disadvantages. You know what I mean? And you know, we going as everybody's laughing, we gonna keep it positive right quick. First, the one thing I can say America that we do, I think is kind of dope. You know what I mean? And I can't even give it a full point. It's kind of like a half a point.
Wow.
It's like going to the foul line and like you go 1 for 2. You know what I mean? Like you made the first one, missed the second one, but you still got a point. Is that when you go to the bathroom in the public restroom areas, you don't have to pay. You just, if you got to go, you just go in there, use the bathroom, hand your business and go. Reason why it's only a half a point is because our bathrooms look like crap. You know what I mean? Like in Europe, no matter what country you're going to, because I went to 4 different ones, you know what I mean? You got to pay. Sometimes it's 50 cents, sometimes it's $1. But you see what you're getting when you pay. The bathroom was very clean, very tidy. You know what I mean? You could tell it's sanitized properly. So it was like, all right, this is where the money's going. So it didn't really make
toilets.
me. Yeah, at first, you know, it kind of made me a little mad that I had to pay. But when I started going in them and I kept going to different ones, I'm like, All right, it makes sense now. And then, like Black just said a second ago, like one of the bathrooms had a self-cleaning toilet seat, like where it was like motion activated, where once you walked away from it, like a device came out and grabbed the seat, and the seat started rotating 360 degrees as it was brushing and spraying like water and stuff like that to clean it.
No bidets? No bidets.
Yeah, I didn't actually see a bidet, yeah. You know what I mean? So, you know, I'll say that, like, that's for sure. You know what I mean? That's probably the only thing we kind of have over them. Everything else is pretty much L. Like, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of the foods that we have, you know, a lot of the stuff that's in our foods is illegal in these countries, which makes you wonder, like, why is it illegal to have this substance in this food but not here?
What are they doing to us?
What are you feeding us?
You know what I mean? I even, you know, just for kicks and giggles, I even went to a McDonald's just to see how it tastes. And yeah, it was different. It was, their McChicken looks like the actual chicken sandwich. Yeah, like, and
Let me ask it. The stuff in the commercials must be over there, basically not in here.
say it again.
The stuff in the commercials, I'm saying, the stuff.
Oh yeah, how it looks in the commercial. Yeah, I think that's what they. Yeah, that's what they eat. Yeah, and then they don't give you lids either. They don't give you lids for your soda, like because those are non-disposable.
Oh,
So everything is very high very
very
high.
not biodegradable.
Yeah, yes, yeah. You know what I mean. So that's a big thing for them. Like you know what I mean. Like, and that's in Denmark and the Netherlands and Belgium. They all do the same thing. Like it's very user friendly in terms of like using the machines to get tickets. And when I was buying bus passes and train passes, like no one actually checked to see if I actually had a pass. I walked on the train and we just sat down and I'm like, is somebody gonna come punch this ticket? Like no one ever came.
It's like an honor system.
Yeah, it's like an honor system. And it's like, so that's something they take very, I guess, goes over there. It's like, who would just try to sneak onto a train for free? That's not a thing to them.
American peasant?
Either
You know
that
what I mean?
or a very sophisticated camera security system.
That too.
Yeah, that too. Well, I know, and when I was in Netherlands, like when we got on the trolley, when you got your day pass, and it's the funny thing about it, when you get a day pass here, right? If you get it at a certain time, you're not really getting a full day pass because, you know, the day stops at midnight. You got to start a new day. You know what I mean? So if you get a pass, it's like 6 p.m. and it's a day pass. It's not really an all day pass. You got it at 6 p.m. You don't use it for, you know, another 6 hours. Apparently over there in Netherlands, when you get a day pass, it actually counts for 24 hours. It doesn't matter if the day changes. It's 24 hours from when you brought the pass. So when I got it at 6 p.m., I had it until 6 p.m. the next day.
That's cool. Yeah.
And all you had to do was just kind of like how you do the credit cards now. When you tap it, I just have to tap it when you get on and tap it when you get off. If you forget, it deactivates. You got to buy a new one.
Oh
So
wow.
their system's more efficient over there than it is.
This shit sick.
Yeah, it seems like it is. Yeah, I was saying like, especially because I know your dad used to drive the buses. I'm like, he probably would have never retired if he had a system like that. 'Cause you ain't got to deal with nobody. You just driving the bus. People get on. Boop, boop, you're not checking nobody. Like the honor system is, yo, if you try to sneak on this bus, that's on you if they catch you. If you know, if policia catch you. You know what I mean?
So did you happen to go to a Deutsche Post Office?
Yeah, that's actually how I ran into Mihesh, because I was talking to the family there, and I'm like, yo, I got to get this interview done. They were like, well, I don't know, man. These guys are not really that nice, and blah, 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 blah. You know, I don't know. I said, you know what? I said, I'm just going to go out and just go find a new one, yeah. I'm going to try to find one, and it was one like about a good 10-minute walk from my wife's uncle's place. And, you know, the guy was Muslim, you know what I mean? So, you know,
cool.
that kind of helped, you know what I mean? Like, we were talking to each other, and he spoke English very well, you know what I mean? And then I told him what I was trying to do, and he was really excited about it. And I was like, all right, cool. I guess that was like his first time being interviewed. And, you know, we went and got coffee because we couldn't really do it in the store because, you know, he had customers in the store. So that's why if you hear things in the background, so we were literally sitting outside having this conversation at a cafe down the street. You know what I mean? And, you know, that was just great that he was able to give me his time because I only needed like a couple minutes, but he was like, hey, whatever you need. Like, and he just gave it up because who gonna fire him? He's the boss. So he told me everything I needed to know. You know what I mean? And I know we had these takes a while back about privatization. Yeah. And it's like, I was kind of like, you know, I sounded like I was in favor of it. I got to walk that back.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, me personally, I don't have a problem running the post office because when I told him, I said, hey, look, if I ever do decide to move here, I think I know what business I'm gonna try to get into. You know what I mean? I'm like, because this dude had 2 of them, got rid of one, and he had a restaurant. So it was like he's doing well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he was driving a Mercedes too. Like You know what I'm saying? I'm like, for me, yeah, like he said, I'll be straight owning a post office. But yeah, I think about the majority of people, they can't run a business. Some people just work, and it's like that's not fair to the other employees. Yeah, you know what I mean? Because these guys in Germany don't make nothing what we make. When I was telling him off camera, off the record, what we were making as carriers, he was looking at me like, "Are you serious?" He was cracking up, like, because he was like, He said we would never pay them that.
Wow.
Like he said, we would never pay them that.
That's like a dictatorship right there, more so.
You know, but no, that's just the way the system is designed. You know what I'm saying? Like,
what does their workload look like?
well, he said, how he was saying in the interview, like instead of how we would just buy more trucks and hire more people to get the efficiency done, no, they would just have the same person make several runs throughout the day.
So working and not getting it. So,
But the thing is, they don't work more than like 7 hours.
okay, all right. So everything equivalent is all basically more the workload equivalent to the hours you working basically, so it's not that bad.
So, can you tell me if that's a fair day's work for fair day's pay?
Yeah.
My brother.
Well,
Yeah.
to be completely honest, like from what he was saying, he said like majority of the people who do the deliveries in Germany, for the most part, are people that are not first generation. They're not like traditional German people. They're people that are first generation that came there as immigrants. So that's one of those jobs where if you don't want to be like a environmental tech, you know what I mean, or if you don't want to do landscape or you know one of those other jobs where you don't have to talk to people because you don't know the language that well, that's a job you could actually do where you know you'll have some stability. Because if you come to work, like we all say, because they say the same thing over there, they need you to come to work. You know what I mean, and you're efficient and you're doing the best job that you can. You got some security. And then the way the country's set up, like they help the people that are coming there that are trying to start their life over. You know what I mean? So I think it's probably, a fair day's pay for a fair day's work because their economy isn't like our economy.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they go to the supermarket more than anything because like Walmart and Target, they didn't do well there. That's what he was telling me. He's like, they tried to set up Walmarts and Targets, but they didn't do well in Germany.
Little knickknacks.
Yeah, people still like to go to the traditional grocery store. They don't like getting their shirts and their eggs from the same place.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they don't like the superstores where everything's in it. They like,
So they're traditional.
yeah, they're like, I'm going here to get food, then I'm going over here to buy some sneakers, then I'm going over here to get some electronics. Like, that's how they like it.
Is that trustworthy? Like, saying like I know where I'm getting my stuff from and who I'm getting.
I think it's more like they value the entrepreneur because it's not big super brands that you see. Like I saw a few brand stores, like market stores, you know what I mean? But a lot of them were stores you could tell, oh, this is probably owned by a person. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's not like a chain.
It's not a conglomerate business.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I think they still value the entrepreneur. He has a business. Me keep my dollar in my neighborhood. Keep my dollar in my city.
So like, it's circle this. The dollar circles in the community. Basically.
Yeah, like all money in, like Nipsey used to say.
Yeah.
It sounds like they value their time a lot too.
Yeah, because on Sunday things were shut down. You know what I mean? Like unless it's a tourist store where obviously tourists are still walking around trying to buy stuff, that'll be open. But as far as like a restaurant, one of the homegrown restaurants, a homegrown store, something like that, like a grocery store might be open, but it's for short hours. You know what I mean? Majority of things like you're not going to be able to buy on a Sunday.
Okay.
You said like their hours, like during a regular week, aren't a lot of hours either.
Yeah, it's like from 10 to 6 normally. Like things open up at 10 a.m. because I literally was standing outside Deutsche Post waiting for them to open, and it was like 9:50, and nothing. It wasn't open yet. You know what I mean? Like the cafe was open down the street where we went to, but they weren't open yet. They don't open at 10, and they close at 6.
You know what that means, guys? No poppy stores.
Yeah, and then he told me the overtime is not like there's not that much overtime. The only way you would get overtime is if I guess a couple people got hurt or sick and they couldn't come to work and they needed you to, you know what I mean? But that doesn't happen that much from what he was saying.
So they all come to work every day.
Yeah.
They value their job. They probably treat them well.
Yeah, they're not getting.
Well, and then you got to think about it. If you're in a private entity business, the person you see every day is the person that controls your livelihood. They could just fire you and that's it. And there's no union.
I was just about to ask that.
There's no union. Yeah. So if like he said, if the general manager, got a cut, you gonna cut.
You think it's possible to bring a union over there, or would you even have that, or
Well, it's privatized.
It's too late in the game. Yeah.
Okay, all right, okay.
It's already privatized, so that means it's franchised out to whoever buys.
Yeah, like the collective workers probably have to come together nationwide and then talk to Deutsche Post, the government, and tell them like, hey, look, we want to do this, blah blah blah. So when somebody buys in, you you have to adhere by the union rules.
How much power would the government have over that? Like, because it's privatized, that means it's not owned by one person, or it's owned, a bunch of people have a piece.
Well, I think it's based on each individual station. Like he owned his station by himself. He didn't have a partner. He had a guy working for him.
So,
you know what I mean? But
it's safe to say if he didn't want a union, he wouldn't have to.
he wouldn't have to. Yeah.
Oh, you would have convinced him.
Yeah, like he said, the government controls how you buy in. So you have to talk to the government, and they would have to probably create new restrictions that say like, oh, well, there's a union now, so everybody who has a post office, you have to adhere to the union rules because now all the people that work there are part of this union.
But what if they already have their station and this happened after you bought in?
Well, here's the thing. Like, I think because you're like, just like McDonald's, how they give you the supplies and stuff like that because you bought in, they could probably pull the rug from on you if they needed to. The same way how like the NBA can force you to sell your team. Like it's your team, but you're part of this NBA conglomerate.
You follow the guidelines.
Yeah, you have to follow the guidelines. So if the country decided to change the guidelines, you got to adhere to it, or they might take the franchise from you and cash you out.
Well, the reason why I asked that question because I don't know if this is true, but this is what I heard about UPS, about their current contract and their raise. Some stations don't have to abide by that current raise or whenever that raise takes effect.
Wow, really?
That's what I heard. I don't know if that's actually true. I haven't actually seen anything online about it, but this is what I heard. So if anybody out there knows anything about it, let us know. If it's not true, then whatever.
Put it in the comments, please.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I asked that.
So Rick, did you get to talk to him about like carriers at his station, like how many carriers he has?
Well, he talked about that a little bit in the interview, like shortly. I don't think he wanted to focus on that because like he kind of hinted to was like he had to get rid of that because I think he felt like the zone where he had his carriers delivering were really racist, so to speak, and it was just becoming more of a problem than it was to be profitable. Because like you said, like Brandon said earlier, like the customer service thing that falls on your shoulders. Like Deutsche Post, the country government sector has nothing to do with customer service complaints. So when they file a complaint about a certain station, you got to handle that. And I guess he felt like they weren't being fair to his workers and to him, and it was probably stressful.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
That's another thing to look forward to in privatization. If it does privatize the same way that they're doing it, all customer complaints are going to be, I guess, fall on whoever the station manager is.
Yo, can you imagine, like, in America, like, with the amount of ECCs that people get per station, if it fell on the actual person who owned the building?
How did Mr. Song say? He bumped me against the wall.
I can see someone like Amazon just buying a crap load of stations if they try to do that privatization just because they have the money and the ability to snatch a boatload of them.
They probably snatch all of them.
Yeah. Listen, I wouldn't be surprised.
Just for the manpower.
They got the money to do it. Why not?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, that's why I'm like, that's not a good look because we get paid very well to do this job. We talk about this all the time on this podcast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like people raising their families, sending their kids to school, buying property, creating other businesses. That'll get cut immediately if we got privatized. And that's not fair to the worker. You know what I mean? Like to the clerk, to the carrier, to the mail handler. You know what I mean? Like shout out to the 18-wheeler drivers too, because we got to get them paid more too. Because the way they get paid compared to other 18-wheeler drivers for other companies is not even close, and we can do better than that as a postal system.
And I think they get fired instantly. Like, you want an accident, I think it's like they can cut you through with it. Like you got like real tedious of how you drive and everything with that. Mm-hmm. On the roads, and like they're really on their ass about a lot of stuff too, like with that too, being that too.
Yeah, because that is a very high level, important function of the post office.
So they abide by the same rules, but not the same pay. That's what you're telling me?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes,
yeah.
that's it.
Same rules of a.
Because you would think, like, driving for the post office with an 18-wheeler that you would really, yeah.
Low cut, undercut.
But so the carriers, right? When I seen the one carrier delivering, because Germany, their colors are, you'll see it a little bit probably in the description in the thumbnail. Their colors are black and yellow.
Is that because they like their like partnership with DHL, or like that's just the colors?
I'm not sure.
And the country colors, the flag color, right?
No, their flag color is like, it's like
It's black and yellow, like
and
black,
red.
red and gold.
Yeah, it's like a gold yellow. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, you know what I mean. So I factor that's probably why they, of course it's called Deutsch because they're called Deutschland, and the German language is called Deutsch. You know what I mean? So
They bought a bunch of stock over there in Germany, in Deutschland, DHL. Like they bought all the stock of DHL, and then like took them into their company.
yeah. I actually saw that inside his store. It was a lot of DHL packages and things like that that you can order to ship something out of. And that's how I when I was looking around, I was like, we don't usually carry the competitor stuff inside our stores. So when I actually had the interview with him, that's when I was like, oh, okay, I get it. This is his store. He got that contract himself.
Right.
You know what I mean? And same thing with the stamps. The stamps get sent to everybody. You know what I mean? But I think you have to order the amount that you think you need.
Okay, so it's
You know what I mean?
It's really like you run like your own like store, like you said, like
Yeah, you run your own thing. Yeah. So, and the funny thing about it is, like, he was the closest postal office to where my wife's uncle lived. But I'm like, that's not where the carriers deliver out of. That's a whole nother building somewhere else. And I was trying to figure out, because I looked on the map, it's like about like 6 post offices in like a 10 to 15 minute walk radius. Huh? So I'm like, which one is the one that delivers? Because I couldn't tell. Because that's the one I was going to try to walk to, but I couldn't tell which one was which, because it doesn't tell you which one delivers.
So it'd be like one is the finance station, the other one like
It
the warehouse.
it don't tell you. It don't even say it on there. Yeah, it just says the address of the building, and then it says Deutsche Post office.
Yeah.
So what he's servicing that area right there, like near where my wife's uncle lives, but the guy that delivers the mail works for somebody else. You know what I mean? And his route is part of whatever that is.
So they crossing over each other. They cross.
Yeah, they kind of, I guess they cross over. Yeah, like some people go to this guy to get the stamp, but they're getting the mail from this guy.
Yo, that could be confusing.
That's the beauty of it, especially
Yeah.
a customer. If you want something, we gotta go to this store to go this thing. I'm like, oh, why don't you just go there?
Yeah, or if you had a complaint about your delivery and you went to his store, he's like, we don't deliver mail here. We just sell product. Like, you got to go to wherever you know what I mean? You got to figure out what that is.
That's another factor we ain't think about in privatization.
Beauty of privatization.
Yeah.
It's always something.
Because it's definitely going to be that, especially with a city like Philadelphia, that would never work.
No.
It would never work because
Too many blocks, too many streets.
yeah, and then people would cross into people.
Yep.
Like look how Roxborough and Manayunk kind of run right into each other. Like, you got routes that this person does the 100, this guy does the other 100, but it's a total different station.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, like on my route 39. Well, my old route 39 route. I used to share a block with Manayunk.
Yeah.
Manayunk Station.
Like, you out there doing the mail, you look across the street, you see the other dude, and it's like, yo, this is weird.
Same
Like,
with Lemon Road. Lemon Road, you share blocks with Lemon Road, kind of like what's called Manayunk too. It's also like it's right there on Dawson Street. You share 200.
oh yeah, you look right across, you see him. So technically, if you cross the street, you went out of zone.
Exactly.
Wow.
You see around the zone here. What do you mean?
What are you doing out the zone?
Higher 100 zone?
Meanwhile, the relay boxes are across the street, like not even 10 feet.
Question about it. Did they have relay boxes out there? Did they have like?
I didn't see a relay box. I saw the regular postal box that they had, which was a big yellowish gold colored box with graffiti all over it. Graffiti's a big thing in Germany. Like, it's not viewed the way we view it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like it's art. It's people's expression. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I saw it everywhere, literally. Like, even in the places that were nice areas.
I would like to know how they delivered on bikes. Like because you see the volume that we get as far as mail
Yeah.
packages. How would they do that volume on bikes unless they had relay boxes or
Well,
some other alternate.
the one guy I saw on his bike, I tried to flag him down, but they, like my man Midhead said in the interview, they're counting down to the minutes, seconds where you gotta be back by this time. Like there's no leeway. So my man probably seen me and didn't act like he didn't see me and was just on a bike pedaling. He was out.
Sounds got time.
He said he had time. I understood.
He like,
You know what I mean?
Paperboy.
Yeah, he was out. What I did notice, because my wife's uncle lives in an apartment complex and they have cluster boxes, I was looking around the box. I didn't see a master key to open the cluster box. Like, we have a 66 key in Philly is a 266 key that you stick into, the cluster box from a different angle, and you can open the entire thing and you just put the mail in each, slot. I didn't see that for them. So I was asking like my wife's father, uncle, I'm like, does he open every single box individually and put the mail in there? And he was kind of like, yeah, I think so. And I'm like, his apartment complex is a big complex. Like, it's like 3 different buildings and it's probably like 30 different boxes for each building. So I'm like, my man is opening one at a time, putting the mail in there, I'm like, that's crazy. Because I'm looking, I'm like, so he has like a master key that probably opens every last one. But I'm like, there's not just one key to open the entire face of the actual
So how many
box.
keys? How many keys he actually have for each joint? So
Well, I think he might have. He's got to have a master key that just works for all of them.
I'm trying to figure out how long that would take.
That's. I was thinking about the
mail is
time.
not in order.
I was thinking about the time. Yeah.
Time practice. I would say it's time wasted practice. You said it. Time wasted practice.
How is that efficient?
Sometimes our creature comforts is better than others. Grass ain't always greener.
Yeah, that's true. That's something that we definitely thought about when we started doing this. I mean, they say, nah, we can't have you just open every single box individually. There's got to be a way to open this whole thing up.
Make it easier.
Yeah, made it way easier.
9 chances out of 10 between the flats and the DPS, everything's not going to be in a sequence.
Yeah, because one of my apartments is never in order.
Yeah, mine's
never in order.
Ain't never in order. You going? One of my apartment buildings, I got a box on one side and a box on the other side. I'm jumping from side to side, putting in mail because it's not in order. Like my flats is in order, but the DPS for the apartments are never in order, but they're in order for the streets. How's that possible?
I don't get it.
Yeah, how is that possible?
Make it make sense, please. Make it make sense.
Yeah, so I mean, it was funny. Like, when I started going to other countries, like on that vacation, like I saw this one dude when I was in the Netherlands. We were in Harlem. They have a Harlem too. It's spelled with 2 A's. You know what I mean? It was like Harlem. That's how you say it. You know what I mean? It's next to Amsterdam. It's like right by the North Sea. Like we were over there, like eating some breakfast, or whatever. And I saw a mail carrier for Netherlands. I think their colors are white and orange. You know what I mean? And I could tell he was like the equivalent of probably what a CCA or RCA is, because he didn't really have a uniform on, but he had his mail bag was like, it was like not really a mail bag, it was like a mail tray, kinda, and it was like strapped to him on both shoulders, and it was a platform that stuck out by his abdomen, and the mail sat on top. So imagine like you playing the snare drum in a marching band. How you carry the snare drum in a marching band, that's how he carried his mail. So he's peeling it that way, giving it to the different businesses. And I stopped him real quick, said what's up to him, told him I worked in the post office, but I could tell he was under the gun too. You know what I mean? He didn't speak English, so I just told him I work for the post office in America. He was like, oh, okay, cool. I mean, he was kind of smiling. He was like looking around like, all right, I gotta go. I'm like, all right, I got you, man. Go ahead. You know what I mean?
Time is money. Time is money.
Yeah, time is money. He was hustling. Like he had a lot of mail too. And that street was not a big street. That was a very narrow street, and it wasn't really that many businesses. So I'm like, how long is his route?
Those Netherlands post office, they trucks, they got ProMaster trucks.
Yeah. I sent y'all the one picture with the big van. Yeah, he had a huge van. Yeah. I wonder was that his? Because now that I think about it, like, he was the only person I seen over there that was doing the mail in that area, and that was where I saw the van like a good like 10-minute walk away from where he was at. So maybe he's doing that whole area, which would explain why he had so much mail.
Right.
He was moving too. So he was not playing, y'all. He was moving. That's one thing I can tell you. Like, I think they really on their back over there about getting back on time. Because everyone seems like they're in a rush. Like when I went to Belgium, I didn't even see a postal carrier. They probably was already done.
But it was gone.
You ain't gonna catch me slipping.
They had they Sonic sneaks on.
Yeah, seriously.
To my head show.
Yeah, man, that's dope that you was able to do that on your trip, man. Provide us with some good information and interview.
Well, it's on the Route podcast, man. We got to try to stand out from these other podcasts that are talking about the post office. You know what I mean? Like I think it says something to show commitment to our listeners that we really doing this thing. You know what I mean? And we're gonna keep doing it too. We're gonna definitely talk to some other people around the world. You know what I mean? Like because now we got a perspective on one country, we can get a perspective on another one.
Yeah, how many of them are privatized?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's gonna be.
Yeah. How many are privatized? How many are not? And how are they running it?
Now you can compare and contrast to see what is what beef.
Because I know Canada, like their system, I think is similar to ours, but we'll find out.
Yeah, Canada Post. I saw a couple.
We'll find out. Yeah, Canada Post. Yeah, we'll find out. We'll talk to them and see what's cracking
Oh, Canada.
Yeah,
up
but
north.
privatization is especially over here it's a little scary.
Yeah, it's really scary.
Compared to what he was saying. What's his name again? I don't know.
Mihesh.
Mihesh. Yeah, compared to what he was saying, it seemed like it would be very scary over here. Like to me, it seems like it will not work, at least over here, especially with the amount of employees and the pay that everybody's getting paid. Because imagine this. Imagine that happens, and Amazon buys up a lot of it, and whoever else, and the pay gets cut in half,
Mm-hmm.
and the workload doubles,
Mm-hmm.
and employees quit, and you got to hire more employees. And you got to teach them, which means the hiring process will probably be a lot stricter than what it is now, or what it used to be. So, because I heard that if it privatizes, a lot of times they do massive layoffs of people with 10 years or less. So if they do massive layoffs, obviously it would start from positions where they don't need a lot of people, which will probably start from the top down.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll close to the bottom. So I highly doubt our position gets downsized that much. But
That don't even make sense though, because it's a young man's game or young
Exactly.
Yeah,
woman's
that's what
game.
that's what I was thinking. Like if they were gonna do that, they would get rid of the people that's already tenured in like 30 year plus.
Yeah,
Because, because they don't want to pay them max money.
But then the question is, the thing is also you build up your more so your agencies now. So now the thing is like they gonna put it more promoted on agencies. Like, well, we serve this in third basically. So the thing is now I can string you along to a point where I can hire you, and all you got a 30-day contract with you, or you gotta do a certain amount to become full time, like Randstad, like them companies like that. You'll start seeing more of them plugging up. Like, well, we got a job for a certain amount of pay, and then they'll get you in there. You're like, oh, it's $20, but it's like, all right, I'm burning myself up for 30 days and $20 an hour. But like, when I'm going to reach the next step to
I don't even
become
think it'd be
full
that
time,
much. I don't even think it'd be that much.
like right,
Yeah, nah.
Yeah, I think
Because one fact I will say,
Oh yeah, like 12, right? Like 12
Yeah.
Randstad.
No,
like,
what's minimum wage?
Nah.
15. Well, that's what they're trying to make minimum wage. They're trying to make it
No,
15.
it might be like 9, 10. Like it might be stay where it's at now because Randstad.
Yeah, like what? Like you'll probably make whatever you would make if you started at McDonald's.
Exactly, probably like that's 11 as well because McDonald's is 11 as well.
They'll literally, because once it privatized, they can pay you minimum wage.
Whatever they like.
I mean, if they want a business, like that's not gonna work. Like anybody gonna work
Well,
for you?
but you're
Nobody gonna work for you. Like if you want a business, like
yeah, but you got to remember the people that's like you said, it's a young man's game. The young people that's coming up don't know the difference. They don't know what it's like to get paid like us. So to them, that's cool because, all right, what about the people that don't want to work fast food? And they're like, well, they say this is a good job. It's a government job. Who knows if it'll still be an actual government job when it privatizes. But to them, it'll probably look like that. And to them coming in $12, $13 an hour might be, all right, cool, whatever. I just graduated high school. I don't feel like doing nothing else. To them, that's big. But people don't realize with that little bit of money, and the way how much rent is, or how much mortgage is, or car note, car insurance, food, all that stuff is high. So
And that's a real fact too, because I think I saw something on online where we're saying from 1970 to now 2023, like almost everything is going up, by times 20, times 15, times 10. You know what I mean? Except for how we get paid.
exactly.
That's only going up times 6.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Everything else up, but we gonna hold on.
Yeah, so I'm like, how do you factor in like everything getting more expensive, but we're not making the pay we need to make to cover the increase on the expenses.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, I understand that companies are trying to make money, but you have to understand, like, if you're, for instance, I'm not picking on nobody, but if you're like Walmart, right, and you're raising the prices of everything, right, but you're not paying your workers to compensate the prices of which you're raising your supplies and everything, and then you have another, have another place like say ShopRite, they're doing the same thing, but the people that work at ShopRite want to go to Walmart. They can't afford to buy Walmart stuff because ShopRite isn't paying them, and vice versa. So as a company, how do you make money when everybody's doing the same thing? Everybody's thinking, well, I'm trying to get more out of my workers and pay them less so I can make more money. But if everybody's doing that, then nobody's spending any money anywhere.
Yep.
And you're not making any money.
They buying half the stuff they usually buy.
Yeah, because they can't afford it. It's the same way, sorry to say, it's the same way that Donald Trump became president the first time. Everybody thought he didn't have a shot in hell because Hillary was so overqualified because she'd done all this different work in different branches of government. And everybody had this lazy attitude of, man, I ain't got to vote because he ain't going to beat her. Like, she, you know what I mean? She been around for years. He ain't never even been a mayor. And everybody had the same opinion and nobody showed up. And he won because his supporters showed up still.
Mm-hmm.
So,
laid the smackdown on.
Yeah, so it's like, that's a real thing that could happen if we keep going in this direction of not wanting to pay people who work, but the companies want to keep raising prices to make money. We're going to flatline.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We're going to flatline. A lot of companies are going to go under, and the government can't just bail everybody out. Yeah, exactly. Like bailing GM Motors and all that stuff, those are just different companies that were able to help. They can't bail out the whole entire economy if everybody starts tanking because no one's spending any money because everybody still got to pay rent. Because if you got a little bit of money, you got to start making cuts. The last thing you're going to cut is your mortgage and your rent.
Oh, yeah.
Those people going to keep making money because you got to have somewhere to lay your head at.
Oh, of course. That's deep.
I don't need to buy those sneakers all the time. Sorry, Nike. Sorry, Reebok.
I don't need that
sorry,
car. I don't need
Adidas.
that car.
Yeah, I don't need that car. Like, you know what I mean? Like, sorry, Mercedes. Sorry, BMW. Ford. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I don't like Black was saying, I can just go to the corner store and get something instead of going to Walmart, instead of going to BJ's. You know what I mean? It's at a certain, it's like it has to come to a certain point where you got to put a cap.
I'll tell you something else that's going to go up. Public assistance is going to be at an all-time high.
Which means they're going to be digging even more into your taxes, which means that's even more money you're losing.
More money.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So it's like, we got to, come on, man, we got to stop playing with our citizens because that's the main thing I noticed in these 4 different countries I went to, even though they're vastly different in culture. The main thing was they cared about their people. They cared about they know that their country is the people. And you could tell by the way they treated them, by the way the system is designed.
It's the backbone.
They don't have a lot. They don't have as much money as we have, but they seem like they were happier.
Yep.
Yeah. Peace of mind, better than always something.
Like the guys are laughing, right? Because this recently happened when I got back. I was on Black's route, actually going to one of the ice cream places.
Oh, no.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm a big ice cream guy. I was over there eating a gelati, you know what I mean? Enjoying my gelati, sitting on the bench on the side of the building.
Swinging his feet.
Like a little kid.
I'm too tall to swing my feet, but if I could have, I would have been swinging my feet. I was really enjoying that gelati. They make really good gelatis. And apparently, while I was sitting there, they got robbed.
It's not funny, bro.
It's not funny, but I'm sitting there eating the gelati, and I'm just in my own world enjoying the gelati, and around the corner at the front, somebody was robbing them. They was holding them up. I didn't even notice. I finished my gelati, got off the bench, walked around the corner to go back to the route, and somebody was like, "Hey man, Mel man, you ain't see that?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He was like, "They just robbed it." I'm looking at him like he playing. Like I would have noticed if somebody got robbed. Like I'm sitting here eating ice cream, like I'm right around the corner. I would have heard a gun cock or something, like somebody scream. He was like, "Nah, they robbed him for real." And then the police pulled up, and I was like, "Oh wow, they must have really got robbed." But I was so out of it because I spent almost a month over there where that's not a thing. Somebody robbing the ice cream place, like, you know what I'm saying? Like nobody, like that doesn't happen. Because the gun thing is not even an issue in these countries because you got to be law enforcement to have a firearm. You can't even be a citizen with a firearm.
Ooh, that's good.
You know what I mean? Like so if you're a bad mofo, it means you got some serious hands. Because you want to box your way out of that situation over there. So it just kind of shows you how vastly different it is here to over there, because it's like, yo, like, you really could get robbed at an ice cream spot if you're not paying attention. Like, you know what I mean? In the middle of the day, too. Mind you, it was the middle of the day. It was like 12 o'clock. It wasn't even nighttime. It was 12 p.m. and some change. Like, I'm like, come on, yo. I still had my route to do.
Broad daylight.
I was heated, too. That was my spot. They closed down for a couple of days. I was a little tight about that.
So I'm gonna flip it on you a little bit. So, like, going over there, because, you know, over here, a lot of times, even delivering mail, sometimes you definitely have to be aware of your surroundings, because, you know, you got some fools out here. So going over there, how comfortable was it not having to do that?
Super comfortable. I'll tell you like this, like, and I mean no disrespect to nobody, but when I was in Denmark first, that's where I went to first, I'm gonna just say this: either everyone in Denmark is wearing cologne and perfume, or their natural body smell is just a good smell. I know that sounds weird, but personal space is not something they really do a lot of in Europe. Like, they stand right next to you, they walk right, they brush shoulders with you. That's how close they get walking by you. So you can pretty much smell somebody as they walk past you. And nobody stunk. Now, I've been some places, and, you know, there are certain people of certain demographics. They're not, you know, their body odor is not exactly on point. But over there, they got it together. I give them that. You know what I mean? Like, I swear to yo, I literally, when we went shopping when I was in Denmark, I literally got some cologne that smelled like what I smelled when I was there. I said, this gotta be what the fellas is wearing, because this smelled like what I smelled the past 2.5 days. So I got some, brought it back. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm just like, I'm really like impressed that they care about the hygiene on that type of level. Because it doesn't matter what type of job you're doing. Like, this construction dudes, like, we walk by a construction site and I smell cologne. I'm like, construction site, like, but they like, nah, we still gonna be fresh. I don't care if I'm slinging bricks, I'm still gonna be fresh. Like, that was their mindset. You know what I mean? I applaud it. You know what I mean? Like, going to Germany was kind of very similar. You know what I mean? Going to Amsterdam, you know, Amsterdam is like New York. There's people everywhere. There's bikes everywhere. You know what I mean? Like, it's more bikes than cars. You gotta share the walkway with bikes. You gotta stay on your side and the bikes stay on their side, and they will run you over if you're not paying attention.
That's what I wish they still would have had here, and when they would have did the same kind of system here. Because moving the bikes and the bike lanes into the streets was the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's very dangerous. Yeah,
dumb.
Yeah, like, but here's the thing: they do still have bike lanes in streets, but it's actually paved and drawn correctly, where even a car knows, oh, that's their side right there. So they're not going. So it's enough space for a car to be driving, and for a group of bikes to be going by the car.
Yeah, because it's like, here is some streets, because, you know, the bikes have to be in the streets.
Yeah,
They can't be on
yeah.
the sidewalks. There's a lot of streets here that don't have bike lanes, and the bikes still be in the street.
Because they got to do it somewhere else in the area.
And that shit is ridiculous.
Yeah, I saw.
Looking like, nigga, move.
Like, every pathway in Amsterdam, there was always bike lanes. There was always, they even designed it where the pavement was a different color. So the bike side was like red, like the brick red. Our side was the gray. So that's how you knew if you were stepping in the wrong side. You know what I mean? Like, and saying, like, Brussels didn't have as much bikes, but they still had that lane created for them. You know what I mean? Like, and once again, everybody's hygiene was on point.
Efficiency again, more efficiency.
So like I said, we might have all the money, you know what I mean, but we lack integrity still here. You know what I mean? Our hygiene ain't really the best, I guess.
Morals.
Yeah.
Is it safe to say privatization worked there because they're efficient, and the places that are less efficient might not work?
Well, I mean, I think what exposed us to most, and I think anybody listening to this podcast from the ages of, you know, if you're 10 years old, and which I feel like at that age you can comprehend things like that you see on TV and that you read in the news, from 10 to, you know, the oldest person alive. Like, we exposed ourselves when we got the global pandemic, because we had the highest number allegedly of COVID cases because we were the most undisciplined. Like, COVID was like, it so-called started in China, you know what I mean? Like, you know, because we don't know, supposedly. We're not, you know. But we know that we got hit with it the hardest because we weren't abiding by what the rules that they were said as you should be doing to keep the numbers low. We just didn't give a damn, and it was evident in the numbers. So definitely, we're probably the least efficient in terms of probably every category except for like entertainment and military. Because our military ain't no joke. I mean, that's the one thing we are efficient in. We kick ass, like hooray. But we don't pay nobody. You know what I mean? Like we can blow stuff up, but we can't do an actual government like healthcare system that actually helps everybody.
Right.
Or like Germany has, they have an actual child care system where it does not break in your pockets to have your child in daycare.
Oh, wow.
You said there's maternal and paternal leave, right?
Yeah, I believe the men get a year, and I think the women get 2.
And is that no matter where you work?
No matter where you work, yeah, but it's not 100% of your pay. I think it's something like, don't quote me on this, but I think it's something like 70%, something like that.
Man, that's up.
Because my wife's cousin, because him and his wife, you know what I mean. So we were talking about that a little bit, and he was letting me know like how that was.
See, we take advantage of that here. People have back to back kids.
well, see that's actually
that already.
Well, see that's actually something that needs to happen, because one of the actual videos I was looking at when I was talking about earlier about how everything went up 15-20%, not 20%, but 15 times X. 20 times X, but only pay went up 6 times X. You know what I mean? Like the child birth rate now was like 0.5.
Oh wow.
You know what I mean? Whereas in 1970 it was like 3.5 or something like that. Like the average household had 3 kids. Now it was like a half a kid. Like how you get a half? But I'm like, how you get a half? I don't know how they came up with a half, but we just gonna round it up and say 1.
You're like a step kid.
You know what I mean? So the birth. Yo. Listen, no disrespect, no disrespect to the step children out there. If you were ever a stepchild, we're not calling you a half a person. We're not doing that, man. But
Technically you are, man.
You only half your
But apparently the birth rate thing is dropping like crazy because people cannot afford to have more children than they want. So let's stop acting like people were just like, no, I only wanted 2 kids. I only want 1. I'm one and done. That's probably because financially you're thinking like, yeah, I gotta be one and done. I gotta be 2 and done. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure if we actually had a system that was a better system, people would have 4 or 5 kids.
The baby boomers. That's like the next era.
Yeah, like that. And I actually said that in the interview with Mihesh. I said back in the 1950s, we had more integrity. It was more family based. And that is around the baby boomer era where it was so many people having children, where it was like, on average, people had 4 or 5 kids.
At least.
If you look at half of the people who got grandparents that are in their 70s, 80s, you probably got a bunch of uncles and aunts. You probably got like 3 uncles, 2 aunts. You probably, you know what I mean? You got 4 aunts. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't too many people who, like, that's our age that got a grandparent and you got 1 uncle, 1 aunt.
If you black, you got 10 brothers and sisters.
Yeah, you probably, you probably, it's mad people. Yeah, it's mad people, bro.
So, is it safe to say over there in Germany, is it safe to say that because they're more family oriented, more efficient, and more worried about their actual people, they're, they have more culture?
Well, that's why I gotta go
more dialed into the culture.
Yeah, that's why I gotta say you're right about that, because Black, you always had that stance that America, we don't have a culture. You know what I mean? We don't really have a culture, and it's evident how we treat each other.
Killing.
Yeah, it's evident in how we. Damn, it's evident in how we treat each other. You know what I mean? I think the thing is, when you go to these different countries, especially like Germany, because it was started by Germans, there's a level of this is mine. You know what I mean? Like, I care about this. Like I care about this land. I care about these trees. I care about this grass. I care about the air. Like, I can trace my family back 1,000 years here, right here. Like, we didn't get on a boat and go somewhere. We didn't fly somewhere. Like, we was right here. You know what I mean? I think that's the same thing in Denmark. It's the same thing in Belgium. It's the same thing, you know what I'm saying? In Netherlands, it's probably the same thing in Italy, Greece, and everywhere else. Because these places were places that have been around for hundreds, if not thousands of years. Our country's only what, like just under 300 years old? We coming up on that mark soon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, no, not soon, but in a couple decades. You know what I mean? Like, so we don't have that bedded in, and then we're such a blend of everybody else that we never decided to make a culture.
It's such a melting pot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I mean, may I add that I asked one of the people there that's dating one of the family members, because he was actually German descent. I asked him a really tough question. You know what I mean? He kept it real with me. He was just like, a lot of the older people don't talk about the past with their country. You know what I mean? He said, but we need to. You know what I mean? We've done a good job in healing ourselves and healing the hurt. You know what I mean? He said, but it has to be talked about. Because I asked him, I say, this is what we learned about you guys in school. How was the story told to you guys? And he gave me, pretty much an elaborate, example of what they were teaching them in school. And to touch on that factor, I was talking to another family member, right, at a dinner, because apparently they still have family dinners. Like, they go there and they sit down and eat. They put their phones away.
Hold on, that's a shame, because we really don't do enough.
Yeah, we don't do that no more. Yeah, like, you get your food, you go back to your room, or you go wherever you're going, you go chill. But you know what I mean? Shout out to the people. Listen, shout out to the people who probably do still do that. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of American families that still sit down at the table together at the end of the night and eat and talk about the day.
Not on a consistent basis. Maybe Thanksgiving, Christmas.
You know what I mean? If you if you're one of them families that you actually still do that, keep doing it. You know what I mean? But I was sitting there talking to one of the younger relatives whose English is impeccable. Like, I was amazed. And he said he learned it from YouTube. You know what I mean? Watching all the stuff, YouTube, and watching, what's going on over here. And I believe he's like he's in his early 20s. So I was asking him about the school system, how it was for him going to school in Germany. And he brought up that it was a requirement in his high school for him to have a psychology class on the African American experience in America. It wasn't an elective. It wasn't something he selected. The school said you had to take this course to graduate. And it was breaking down the psychology of the African American and their experience in America. Yeah,
you got to think about that. With, DeSantis trying to sweep everything under the rug in Florida, over there, they like, no, you have to learn this.
Yeah, and I'm like,
crazy.
But when he said that to me, I paused for a second. I said, you live in Germany, and they made you learn about the psychology, not just the history, the psychological damage that happened to black people in America. We don't even do that here. And on that note, we're going to wrap it up. We might say that for another episode.
Oh,
yeah, we got to touch
We're going to dig into that one.
Yeah, but on the Route Podcast, we're going to keep giving y'all good information as we get it. Granted, all the facts might not be there, but it's real time when we're talking to you guys about this stuff. Like I said, with mail carriers, people keep talking about, hey, you guys need to do your research better. Fam, we deliver mail.
Please, I'll get the most.
We on the overtime list.
Thank you, please.
If you're a real carrier, you know how much time you got, especially when you got families and stuff.
Yes.
But we still finding a way to do these pods and give you guys this stuff and give you guys this information. And like I said, what other podcasts actually want to cross seas to talk to somebody? I'll wait in the post office. I'll wait. You know what I mean? But thank you guys for checking in with us. We appreciate y'all. Let my brothers have the last words before we roll up out of here.
Be more. I'm just happy to be back, baby. Like I said, we're going to keep you all information, quality. Look, feels good, baby.
This is Black. I'm always happy to pod with these brothers. I'm also glad that we got more information on privatization, because man, that dark times.
All right, man. It's Aaron on behalf of On the Route Podcast. We signing off. All right, talk to y'all later.
That's right. Be safe out there and be safe on the route.
It ain't never safe on the route.
So ist das Leben.